Hello everyone, I'm Nicholas. I'm Director of Operations and Partnerships at Cassandra. Today, I wanted to introduce the concept of attribution multiplier. Attribution multipliers are an outcome of any rigorous and well-calibrated marketing model. Let's get to it. In order to understand what are the attribution multipliers, I want to talk about first the distinction between in-platform attribution and marketing mix incremental ROI. Every major media platform uses an in-platform attribution model to assess the performance of your marketing investments. But it does so based on two main assumptions. The first assumption is an attribution model. Typically, the major platforms are using either last click or a machine learning model as the attribution model. Second assumption, they would calculate this return based on what you share with a platform and what that platform can actually track. So solely the touch point or the data that platform has access to. So that's what you get with an in-platform attribution. You get a return on investment based on the data you can track and based on a very specific attribution model. On the other end, if you have a marketing mix model, you get an incremental return on investment for a given channel. So what is an incremental return on investment or IROI? Put simply, this is the incremental amount of sales or conversions that specific channel is providing you with the business on top of any other factors that may have contributed to that sales or conversions. Other factors being price, promotion, seasonality, etc., etc. Marketing mix models try to detangle the incremental contributions of a channel versus every other factor. Attribution multipliers act as a bridge between those two. So how do you benefit from attribution multipliers with Cassandra? You need two things. You need to leverage the Cassandra API connectors during the data onboarding phase. So you need to leverage those connectors so that you can pull directly into the Cassandra platform all of the marketing spend from the major digital platform. And of course, you also need to have built a marketing mix models within Cassandra. When those two conditions come together, you therefore have access to attribution multipliers. That's well said and done, but how do they look like and how they calculate it? So let's take an example. Here, we have this example, Facebook prospecting. We have the 500K budget and an attributed amount of revenue to about 425K. The in-platform ROI is 425K divided by 500K or 0.85. It means that the in-platform ROI indicates that for every €1, dollars or pounds invested in a platform, you get 0.85. However, you also have an incremental ROI provided by the MMM that you built. And the incremental ROI is 1.5. In this instance, you can conclude very quickly that the in-platform ROI tends to understate or undervalue the true incremental contribution of this very specific channel. The attribution multipliers is therefore calculated by taking the IROI from MMM 1.5 divided by 0.85, the platform ROI. With the other example below, we are faced with the opposite conclusions. The in-platform ROI of 0.66 for paid search non-branded is higher than the incremental ROI provided by MMM. So the attribution multipliers is below 1, 0.53, and the conclusion that you can draw is that the in-platform ROI tends to overstate or overvalue the true contributions of paid search non-branded. One important point, an IROI in the context of MMM, of course, always comes with confidence interval. The smaller the confidence interval, the more likely the true incremental contribution of a given channel provided by you NNN is actually closer to reality. So do not forget to check the confidence intervals provided by your NMN. To conclude, attribution multipliers act as a great bridge between the marketing mix models and the more operational aspect of marketing, which is when your team are performing weekly campaign level optimizations or are looking at performance on a weekly level or daily level. The goal is to refresh the marketing mix model as quickly as possible, as frequently as possible, to refresh those attribution multipliers as quickly as possible, and to use them on top of the in-platform ROI to get a better idea week in, week out, or day in, day out, of which campaign is performing better versus another, or which campaign tends to be understated or undervalued versus the true incremental ROI, or which campaigns tend to be overvalued or overstated by the in-platform ROI. If you can make this work together, you are very, very close to turn a marketing mix model into something operationally simple and operationally effective for your marketing team. Thank you so much. As per usuals, we provide a ton of content and we try to help loads of brands and marketers in our main sources of content here that you can scan. Thank you so much.